Sup YouTube, welcome back to Universe X, and today I understand that it's kind of like there hasn't really been a lot of time between this list and my last list, but Draftbox 6 did come out, so I thought I'd want to put out my current build because really there's not going to be an event where we can use Draftbox 6 happening for quite some time because I believe the online ones said that they were going to bar it to keep it fair. Don't at me on that, I'm just pretty sure I heard it, but either way, I'd like to share the wealth, so if anybody else wants to bring my Dark Harambe list, my Xeno Harambe list into any sort of tournament, they can. But I've been having a lot of fun with this list so far in testing, and I'm excited to share it with you guys. So right before we get into that, if you haven't already, think about joining the Facebook group, the Dragon Ball Super card game community. It's the largest Facebook group. It's the largest social media group actually for this game. It's a forum of memes, entertainment, news, because Bandai has started giving them spoilers now, and we're always looking for new people. So holler at your boys and gals. But you thought I was gonna ask you to subscribe. Well, you know what? Spoiler alert, I kind of am. If you like the content, think about subscribing because I am trying to grow this channel and I need every one of you. And I'll keep putting out as much content as I can as long as you guys enjoy it. Next, I do have a Discord link in the description. Trying to build that community. And without further ado, let's head right into the deck list. Since this is like the third time I've been on camera just showing the deck list, I'm not really going to go into things unless it's like a specifically new change from when I had it. You guys should already know what the leader does. You guys should already know what the leader's back does. It's a little bit better if it's a pre-release, just don't at me on that either. We're still at 3 of the 4 drops, or the 1 drops. Wow, can't even, what was that? We're still at 4 of the 1 drops. Easy ball plays, that's tight. Currently, I have 3 of Toa Union of Magic and Science. It's just by far the most dead 30k in the deck. Yeah, you can search Dragon Ball with it, but you don't really want to use that when you're on your momentum making plays later on. And even on the first turn, sometimes you might want to keep an energy up for Protector of the People, depending on the deck you're facing. Sometimes you just rather have Broly and Ball. It just feels kind of weird playing this. So this is probably going to go down to 2, maybe even 1, depends. There's some things I'm kind of switching around, might work Mecha Gaboras into the main. So there's some stuff kind of there. Again, I will preach it. One of the most important cards of the entire deck, Toa Dark Aura Deluge. I've already preached it in my other videos, but it's just really important. If you guys play the deck, you know that coming in to a turn with multiple Broly's on board and then swinging with them and then sacking them through the activate battle effect the leader to replay some of them or all of them if your graveyard's just that stacked is how you really start pushing out swing after swing after swing after swing. But it's also how you recycle effects, you know? You keep the warp from hand, warp from grave like on the board, you swing with them, you pop them with your leader, you bring him back and do it for this turn. So you've just been giving them a -1 each turn, sometimes -2 if you're facing a deck that has some graveyard things like Gotenks with its pieces or the mirror. But if you get baby hatched, if you get negated multiple times in a row, this card allows you to still have an outlet to sack off your Dark Broly so that you can just bring them back. It's also pretty good if you can't get your overwhelms off the board and you might want to change your graveyard count. You don't have to bring something back to hand, so you can just sack your overwhelm to bring it to the grave and not recur anything, keep your graveyard count, or you can bring back another overwhelm, or you can bring back the same card you just sacked if you want to use it again next turn. Invaluable piece. How you use this, I believe, is a major thing that sorts the great Dark Broly players from the maybe not so great. 4 super combos, because it is what it is. We went down to 2 Champa, and I'll explain that a little later, but the main thing to know is we use our energy different now that Dimura is out. He's a 2-drop, and so, well, yeah, he's a 5 cost, technically, but he comes out for 2 for Overwhelm and Dark Overwhelm. So there are a lot of turns where you just don't have open energy just to spam multiple Champas. So these are definitely more finishers now, because the deck is kind of, I feel like, creeping back to more incremental bodying, and so you're not going to have as many explosive like just turns, but sometimes putting them down from 2 to 3 or from 5 to 3 is excellent, and putting them down to from 2 2 to 0 is great. Sometimes in this deck, just the way the things stack up, even putting it down to 1, because that means they have to block all your attacks, and with 30k swingers, that can get pretty taxing. You've got 4 of the blocker, standard. 4 of the Warp from Hand, Warp from Grave. Like I said, best Dark Broly in the deck. If you have foils and you wanna hook a bro up or tell me your price, let me know, because I need 2 of them. Dark Broly, Uncontrollable Berserker. Okay, that's tight. That's tight. I mean, he's the SR, but he's kind of like almost the least used one. Now we have the stars of the show. Demon God Demigod, True Power Unleashed. The guy's an absolute beast. The things you need to understand about him is that in this deck, every deck can use him, and by far he's a really good card. Comes into play, warps a battle card your opponent controls, you draw a card, so you replace himself in hand. That's automatically great. Warp a card, draw a card. Wonderful. 5 overroam for 2. Pretty strong. But the other thing is, when he swings, your opponent has to choose a card to warp from their hand. So he's going to take away a card on the field, he's going to draw you a card, and he's going to force them to take away a card in their hand. Now the other thing is, he has Dark Overwhelm, so he's actually better in black decks because he will stay on the board. And the ability to put him down on turn 2 and swing sideways with him, and your opponent not be able to deal with him on turn 2. I mean, of course, Gotenks has Reaper, there's some other decks that have things, but if they can't deal with him, he's going sideways again. And to be fair, with the way the deck works, I mean, you can easily swing with them, and if they can't answer a first one, what are they going to do when next turn you drop a second one and swing with both of them? You'll be ripping 2 cards out of their hand, you'll be putting pressure on them, they'll have to start negating to keep their life total up, they're going to be losing cards from hand, and by the way, you still have cards like this that will dance their way on and off the field. So you'll start actually doing a fair amount of hand destruction, incrementally of course, but it's just absolutely a vibe. The fact that he's removal is absolutely wonderful as well. He can get rid of blockers and red Broly. He can get rid of in the mirror opposing like battle cards, Dark Broly's, thick boys, and he warps it too. So it's going to be a little harder. It's not going to count towards the overwhelm. It's going to be much harder for most decks to access these cards. It is a godsend. This card is exactly what this deck needed to push it from, as Amani and I were talking about earlier, what he said, from a questionable 1.5 into tier 1 status. Still though, we gotta have our free overwhelm swings, and this guy refunds half this cost in the graveyard, but he also can stop things like triple strike and quadruple strike from ruining your life. Somebody swings with a Cell Zeno and you activate this card and you're only gonna take 1 damage if you don't have negate. Pretty awesome. And the other thing about it is, when you're facing blue decks, if they stick you with the baby, and they swing for triple strike, this guy will be able to use his effect, and it's not going to be a counter that they can counter. Or if they're going for game and they have the baby ape in hand, you can use this card to stop their double striker from going in for game, because it's not a counter. So this guy has a lot of excellent uses. One of these, he used to be at 2, now he's at 1 because he's much more fringe. What he does kind of explosively, Dimigor will do over the course of 2 turns. However, he does allow you to pick the cards, and now that Dimigor is on the board, they're likely going to be a lot more softened up to take this card's -2 from their hand. So I mean, after Dimigor has been going to work and you've been pressuring them, this guy comes over and he will probably just clean up whatever's left of the hand. It's really good. The cards that'll be left are cards that are useful, cards that'll be left are cards that they want to keep. 3 Power Burst, because I mean, we need the sparking. It's going to actually be really good in this deck. I mean, Power Burst has been proven, but he also recycles the 1-drops, such as the 1-drop Broly, the Toa, Dark Deluge. He's great. Power Burst. 3 Protector of the People. This card is just a nasty negate. Completely stops Nobuni turn in its tracks. It's harder to use against red Broly, but still can be used with the right sequencing, especially if you're Awakened. You can change that math with the activate battles. It's good against the aggro Majin Vegeta, very, very good. It's good against most Randy decks. Now, of course, against Gotenks, you know, not really. They're swinging with a lot of thick boys. So against the Mirror, definitely not. Against Veginx, yes. So this deck, or this like card, is just very, very, very neat for those things. You've got one max power Kamehameha. Holla at you, boy. He's just a really good card. I mean, it's a negate. This deck will almost always have the fodder to remove the cards to bring it back to your hand, and it can come down and smoke things that are on the board that are higher than the player's energy count. So he stops a lot of the boys that are cheated in. Very good card. 4 Dragon Balls, because they pair in connection with Broly, but they're also combo power after you've stopped using the 1-drops. And then this card was at 2 before with 1 on the side. Now it's back at 3 again. It is one of the most valuable cards in this deck now. Mainly because it's kind of just absolutely nutsack. Like crazy. You like, it's the Stone Cold Nuts. You are able to bring something up by 15k, usually your leader, to protect his booty cheeks. And on top of that, you're able to remove something in the grave from your opponent. That could be the Mirror, that could be a Gotenks piece, that could be a lot of stuff. But it's actually just a really good card. But the best part is, like, this card can mill 4 when it does that. And in this deck now, you've got, I don't know, 6 cards that are not black in here. 6 entire cards that are not black. And so the cool thing about this kind of card is that, you know, you're playing against your opponent, right? And it's actually because of this guy that I value this card is higher than it was. So, you know, let's say on turn 3, you play a Demigra, okay? You have him out. And you got this guy in your hand, you know, you're waiting to play him, but you've also got this guy, all right? You know, you remove a card, you draw your card, you get your swing in, and they warp a card from their hand. Okay, let's say they combo enough to kill your Demigra, right? Because chances are, if they can get that easily, they will try to probably swing over him because they want him to be out. He's just a really phenomenal card, okay? Well, I just overwhelm. Let's say I don't have any cards in my graveyard. Excellent. You know, they swing on him, you have your 1 energy up because it's turn 3. You play Majin Buu's Human Extinction attack. Mill 1, mill 2, mill 3, mill 4. That's 4 black cards, okay? And then this guy goes to the graveyard. What do you have? You have Overwhelm 5, Dark Overwhelm for this guy. All from 1 card. Like I said, you only run 6 red cards in this list. And I might hold a ball. If I see a ball in my opening hand, I'm gonna hold it. Champa's at 2, but if I see it, you know, it's just chilling. So most of the time, Majin Buu's Extermination attack, or Extinction attack, will actually create Demigra just Overwhelm by itself from 0 graveyard. And then now, the first thing I can do next turn before I use any other effects is just play my Demigra after charging, and then I can look at the top 5 of my deck and try to start replenishing my deck. If I'm at 4, then I can then Awaken, put 3 back, and you were able to make a whole bunch of plays. So these 2 cards go together like peanut butter and jelly, unless you've got a nut allergy, in which case they go together like Majin Buu's Human Extinction attack and Demon God Demigra True Power Unleashed. So yeah, that's actually pretty cool. So that being said, I hope you guys liked the new Broly video. If you're following the Broly train, I hope that this gave you some insight onto how it is, how it may change for the draft box, and you know, I will probably have some games with it up for the next Uni-X match. So look forward to that, and yeah, that's actually pretty much it. I'll see you guys next time, and you guys have a great day. Thanks for the support. Later.